Hey y'all, it's me, Lauren. Welcome back to my channel, and today I have a pretty large book haul. The last time I did a book haul was in November, right after my birthday. I had bought myself a lot of books. So this is books acquired from November through very recently. I had even debated on doing one, but I recently got a few as gifts off of my wish list, and I kind of wanted to share those, and I have a few others that I wanted to talk about. So I thought, why not share these with you guys? And it was kind of sad to have to take them all off my shelf because it made them a mess. I don't know if you can see the mess that is my TBR cart right now because I haven't read a lot of these. I also have a box over here that I am supposed to open. Someone from Mel's Patreon Discord sent this over to me, and they requested me to film my reaction to opening it. I do have an idea of what it is because it's a bigger box. I'm pretty sure I only had one thing on my wish list that could require a larger box like this, and then I have a couple others that also came from someone in that Discord, and I kind of wish I would have saved those to open on camera as well, but I didn't really know that that's what they were when they came. So let's go ahead and jump into these because we have 33 books to talk about. So first I have the Gilded ones by Namina Forna, and this is one that's been on my radar for a long time because I know that the release date on it was pushed back, but a lot of people got it in one of the book boxes last summer. So the beautiful cover has just been catching my eye for a very long time, and so I finally picked it up a couple weeks ago when I went into Barnes & Noble and saw it. And unfortunately my dust jacket has been a little bent, but this is about a girl. She's living in anticipation of something called a blood ceremony, and if you bleed red you are normal, and if you bleed gold then the country or area that she lives in believes her to be impure, I guess. The back of the book says, are we girls or are we demons? Are we going to die or are we going to survive? But I believe she gets invited by someone to join this army of girls who are just like her. I've heard good things about this, and so I'm really looking forward to it, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people reading it. I know this was on a lot of people's most anticipated list, yet I haven't seen a lot of people reading it. So I'm interested in getting to it, and I might get into it sometime this summer. This cover is just so beautiful, and it's 100% what drew me in when I first saw the book. But I think the story sounds really good, and this is the start of what's going to be a series, I believe. So I'm eager to learn how it's all going to play out. The next one is another one that had the cover really drawing me in. I saw it a lot on Instagram, and it is Fable by Adrienne Young, and I'm not sure if this is going to be a series. I feel like it's a duology because I've seen a lot of the covers side by side with the other half of her face here on people's shelves, and this has the Reese's Split Clip sticker on it because it was one of her picks as well, and I didn't even realize that before I added it to my list to want to pick up. But I know that this follows a young girl who lives on the sea. A quick read of the synopsis tells me she's looking for her father and wants to demand she be a part of his crew. It sounds like there's going to be a bit of like girl power, a girl finding herself and her own strength. And it says, welcome to a world made dangerous by the sea and by those who wish to profit from it, where a young girl must find her place and her family while trying to survive in a world built for men. But I've seen people really loving this, and like I said, I don't know much about the synopsis, but I do think that I'm going to enjoy it just based on what I have heard about it. So this one could be one that could be good for the summertime as well, just because it takes place on the water, and I've never really read a book about it. Makes me think of pirates, I guess, and I'm not really sure if that's what they're supposed to be. And the next one I have is An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir, and this is the exclusive collector's edition from Barnes & Noble, and it's very beautiful. This sticker comes off, thankfully, but it is signed by Saba Tahir here with this little Always Victorious stamp, and then under the dust jacket is really pretty because it's just white with this red on it, and it is just gorgeous. And I know that this is a fantasy, basically. That is it. I've just seen everyone talking about the last book that just came out and how everyone really loves this series a whole lot, and I'm really eager to just find a series that I can fall in love with, and so this one is complete. So I'm excited about that. And something else that I really enjoy that I've heard about Sabatier's writing is she's not afraid to like take out a beloved character to hurt her readers, basically. So I think that that's exactly kind of what I'm looking for in a series. So I'm really hoping to get to this one. I was hoping to get to it sooner, but as you guys know, I haven't been reading lately. This was basically an impulse buy because I saw this edition in Barnes & Noble, and most of the series that I've seen in Barnes & Noble, they never have the first book. It's always the second or last book in the series, and they never have the first one, but they had this first one, and it was a beautiful edition, and I just had to have it. I'm expecting to really enjoy it, so fingers crossed that I actually do. And the next one I have came in my Bookish Box subscription, and it is Unchosen by Catherine Blair. And from what I understand, this follows a girl whose sister is the chosen one, so that's a bit of a twist on the chosen one trope. And there is a plague in the area that they live that's turning people into flesh-eating monsters, and something happens and they come to take her sister because obviously she's the chosen one who's going to save the world, but our main character ends up taking her place as their prisoner. And that's pretty much all I know about it. It sounds pretty good. I really like this cover, and I haven't really seen anybody talking about this, and I can't even remember where I first heard about this, but I know that I've had it on my Goodreads TBR for a while, and it was to be released in 2021. It has some under the dust jacket art because it was a special edition. I guess these are more like reversible dust jackets, but I am assuming this is the main character and her sister, and it's pretty cool. You can see the ribs of one of them. I can't tell what that says. This is very interesting drawing, and so I'm kind of intrigued by it to know what the heck is going on here. The next one is another Bookish Box subscription book that I got, and it is a murder mystery, but it is Pride and Premeditation by Tirza Price, and it says a Jane Austen murder mystery, so it's based off of, I guess, Pride and Prejudice, but it is a murder mystery. And again, this wasn't one that was really on my radar because it came in the Bookish Box subscription, but the cover is actually pretty interesting because it kind of looks like a crochet picture. There is also art under this one as well, and it's really cute. But as you can see, she's holding a pistol behind her back, so maybe she's suspicious of him or something. I don't know. I haven't even read the synopsis for this one. Pride and Prejudice gets a murder mystery makeover in this new series based on Jane Austen's most beloved books. When a scandalous murder shocks London high society, 17-year-old law enthusiast Lizzie Bennet sees the perfect opportunity to prove herself as a formidable litigator, despite the fact that women are only allowed in court as witnesses. Unfortunately for Lizzie, the man accused of the crime already has a fledgling lawyer, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, the stern young heir training to take over the prestigious firm Pemberley and Associates. It's definitely not at the top of my TBR at the moment, but I definitely still am interested in it, and I think the cover is cute. And the next one is another one that I got in my Bookish Box subscription, and it is The Initial Insult by Mindy McGinnis, and this one also wasn't on my radar, but the synopsis actually sounds really interesting. So the main character's parents disappeared the night that they drove her best friend home, and then I guess we're also going to get the perspective of the best friend because it discusses in the synopsis how she has tried her best to keep what happened that night a secret. So there's a bit of a mystery there, trying to figure out what happened to our main character's parents all those years ago. It says it's going to be a duology, and she draws inspiration from Edgar Allan Poe. Oh yes, because it's talking about Tress has a plan, which is our main characters whose parents went missing. A Halloween costume party at an abandoned house provides the ideal situation for Tress to pry the truth from Felicity, brick by brick. As she slowly seals her former best friend into a coal chute, Tress will have her answers or settle for revenge. So it's based on that poem by Edgar Allan Poe where he's bricking him into the wall. So this is going to be really interesting, and I remember reading that when I first got this, and I was like, whoa, that sounds kind of crazy. And I just remember reading that in my like 10th grade English class, and it was just like, wow, this is dark. So I think it's interesting that someone took inspiration from that and has made it into a book. And this one also has under the dust jacket art. I don't even know if I've looked at this art. I think these are all signed as well. Yeah, they are. This one's more like a reversible dust jacket because it doesn't necessarily have art. It's just kind of words. Kind of like this better than the cover that's on there, honestly. So I don't know. I might reverse that before I put it back on my shelf. We shall see. Finally, I have a book that was probably my most anticipated of the year, and then it took me an entire month to get the book in my hands and then another month to actually finish it because of my horrendous reading slump. But it is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, and this is obviously the the first in the companion novels to the ACOTAR trilogy. So this follows Nesta and Cassian from the original trilogy, and they have an enemies to lovers situation, and we're following Nesta as she's going through everything that has happened to her and the mental health issues that she's having and struggling to get into a better place. And so she's sent to the Illyrian Mountains to work with Cassian, and they have a lot of sexual tension, and this was really, really great to read. I definitely think that it's best read all together instead of taking time like I did, because it definitely does slow down in some areas, and this is definitely more of a nostalgic read for those who love the ACOTAR series. But I just am really excited to have this, and I kind of like the cover in person, but this is a chunker. It is huge, and I'm not sure if it needed to be this huge, but I really enjoyed this one. The next deck I have are my book of the month books. So the first one is the one that I've gotten in my box most recently, and it is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And this is the second book from Emily Henry. It is a romance, and it follows two friends who have always gone on vacation together. They are going on vacation this year, and I'm not sure, for some reason I think it's like this is the last vacation they're going to take or be able to take or something, and everyone knows that they're in love with each other except them, kind of thing, and they're going to go on this vacation and fall in love. And from what I understand, because I haven't read Beach Read yet, Emily Henry writes romance with some hard-hitting, more serious topics in them, and I think a lot of people did not like Beach Read for that reason yesterday, because the cover obviously portrays a very lighthearted type of book, and people weren't expecting those more hard-hitting topics to be in there. But I think that I'm going to really enjoy this one based on the synopsis. So this one is definitely a perfect summer read, and I'll probably be getting to it soon because I think it'll be a pretty quick one. So yeah, the next one is a thriller that is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins, and this one is based on Jane Eyre. So I've never read Jane Eyre because I haven't read a lot of classics, but I do know that people were talking about the title of the book being a spoiler. But if you do know about Jane Eyre, then you already know what's going to happen. I've heard people really have enjoyed this one, so I think that I'm going to enjoy it. It's one that I had been anticipating for 2021, so I'm looking forward to reading it and kind of getting the backstory on Jane Eyre, because I don't know if I will ever read it. I'm just not a classics person, and I've come on BookTube and hear so many people talk about how beloved the classics are for them, and it makes me kind of feel bad, and I have FOMO, and so I don't know, I might read it one day, but right now this is as far as I'm gonna get with that one. The next one is People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd, and this is one that I read the synopsis on Book of the Month, and I had never heard of it before, and the concept just sounded crazy. But it is about a mommy blogger who puts entirely too much of her information onto the internet, and she develops a stalker. Concept definitely sounds interesting. I'm kind of eager to see how it all plays out. It says a razor sharp, wickedly smart suspense debut about an ambitious influencer mom whose soaring success threatens her marriage, her morals, and her family's safety. And The Winter Sister by Megan Collins. I actually have a kind of funny story with this one. So I had previously canceled my Book of the Month subscription, and at the time, I don't remember if I selected it or what, but I had it on my list of books that I had received, but I had never received it. And I think it was just a mix-up within me canceling it around that time frame. So I actually had reached out to them when I started my subscription back up, and they sent it to me so kindly without hardly any questions. This follows a girl whose sister had went missing years before, and I don't know why. I was thinking it was kind of like a sci-fi or fantasy or something, but it says 16 years ago, Sylvie's sister Persephone never came home. Out too late with a boyfriend she was forbidden to see, Persephone was missing for 3 days before her body was found, and years later her murder remains unsolved. Okay, so she was murdered, not just missing. In the present day, Sylvie returns home to care for her estranged mother Annie, who's undergoing cancer treatment. And I think that the sister also has secrets about that time. Like, she might know more than it seems about her sister's murder, and she just hasn't owned up to it yet. So this one sounds really good, but I haven't seen it anywhere. I have seen seen it in a couple of compilations on Instagram of like books that will make you cry. So knowing that, and the fact that it's kind of got that mystery aspect, I think this one is going to be the one that I really like. And then I got The Hunting Wives by May Cobb, and this is also one that was in my most recent book box from Book of the Month. And this follows a group of women in Texas, I believe, and they're in like this group, and they go out to like rich people lunches, and they go to the shooting range. Something happens, and a young girl comes up dead, dead, and they're all, I think, suspects, and so they all get kind of wrapped up in the mystery of trying to solve what happened to this girl. That's pretty much all I know about it, but this cover was just like grabbing my attention. And I have heard Gabby reads, she said she really enjoyed this one, so I think it's going to be a good one. And it's got rich people drama, which is always fun to read about. And then I also have On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, and this follows a young girl who aspires to be a rapper, and I believe her dad was one, and he might have passed away, I believe, as the daughter of an underground hip-hop legend died right before he hit big. Bree's got massive shoes to fill. I know that a lot of people have enjoyed this one, but I know this one isn't as talked about as The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, so I think this one will be a cute, fun read with some more serious aspects kind of mixed into it, and it's also kind of thicker than I realized that it would be. I really enjoyed The Hate You Give. Angie Thomas's writing is really fast-paced. Even though it seems longer, her writing will probably make it seem like it's going by a lot quicker, and it'll feel like a short read. And then we have The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and this is a debut novel, and I know that it's got 2 timelines, and the previous timeline follows a group of women who visit this apothecary and they get poisons for men who have wronged them. And then in the present day, there's like a letter or something that's found that kind of discusses what happened in that previous timeline, I believe. I have seen Hillary from Melted Books has read this, and she did enjoy it. She said there were a few places that you could tell that it was a debut novel, but she said that it was a really great debut novel. And then someone who is in the Citadel Discord with me was also reading it, and she said that it definitely gets dark in some places. So there are trigger warnings for, I believe there's incest and sexual abuse in here. So definitely take caution if you want to pick this one up. This was one that I was really anticipating in 2021, and it actually would have been in my most anticipated reads of 2021 if I had taken the time to make that video, but I didn't. But I'm talking to you about it now, and I should be getting to it pretty soon. The next 2 are Book of the Month picks that I have already read, but the first is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, and it is a romance following friends to enemies to fake fiancés to lovers, I guess would be the trope, but it follows 2 people who were friends when they were younger, and then he moved away and she moved on with her life, kind of, because she never forgot him and she never forgot that he abandoned her for their prom. And there were parts in here that just, she felt a little naive, but also she's very intelligent, so it kind of felt a little unbalanced in some places, I guess. I did enjoy this one, even though it did have its cheesy moments. I'm not sure if this is a debut novel. It doesn't say in the back of the book. I think that a lot of people will really enjoy this and find it fun and cute. And the next one is one that I had a lot of time reading, and it is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Mansala, and this is going to be in a part of a series, which I'm kind of intrigued on how we're going to turn this into a series. But we follow a girl who has moved back to town to help out with her aunt's restaurant that is failing, and her ex-boyfriend is a food critic, and he has been coming into the restaurant several times and kind of harassing them and putting posts on his blog trashing their restaurant. And he comes in one day with his stepfather, and he literally drops dead at the table. The investigation shows that he's been poisoned, and they start targeting her and her family's restaurant as the suspects. And so she kind of gets thrust into the mystery to figure out what exactly happened to him. There are also hints of a romance in here, but nothing really comes of it. I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. There are tons of food references, and they are just so descriptive. There's even recipes in the back of the book, and she puts a message in the front because of a sensitivity reader's experience to some of the elements in the book and how it affected them. And she lists a few trigger warnings in here for people. So I thought this was so much fun, and I can't wait to read the next one in the series. And the next one I have is Uninvited by Lisa Turkhurst. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly. It says, living loved when you feel less than, left out, and lonely. In Uninvited, Lisa shares her own deeply personal experiences of rejection, from the perceived judgment of the perfectly toned woman, one elliptical, over to the incredibly painful childhood abandonment by her father. She leans in to honestly examine the roots of rejection, as well as rejection's ability to poison relationships from the inside inside, including our relationship with God. So this is a Christian book, and I have a friend who read another book by the same author, and she really enjoyed it. But I saw someone specifically on BookTube, I believe it was Meredith Elizabeth, who said that she read this one specifically and she really enjoyed it. And so I think it's going to be one that I'm really going to enjoy, and I think there are going to be some elements in here that I'm really going to be able to relate to. And then we have American Royals by Catherine McGee. This is the first in a series. It might be a duology. I'm not sure if there's going to be more books in this series. It is kind of a reimagining of America. If it had been a monarchy, instead of George Washington becoming president, he would have been a king. And so it follows his descendants as if he were a king. And I know there's a lot of drama in this, and people say it kind of reminds you of Gossip Girl, but royal, I guess. The only concern I have about starting this book is that I've seen a lot of people really love this first one and not enjoy the second one as much. So that's kind of the only reason that I haven't jumped into this one, because otherwise it sounds like my perfect book. I'm just worried about loving this one and being let down by the second one. I do think that this is going to be one that I love, because I do really love Gossip Girl, and the idea of making it like royal based is something that just sounds a lot of fun. The next books I have are some romance books, because I had actually tried to plan a video where I was going to read 28 romances in the month of February. And then I did not feel good. I got sick on the 1st of February, right after having COVID. And so that was just not a good time to try to read 28 books in 28 days. So I scrapped that. And I don't know, I may do it next year or something similar. Now I have a lot of romances that I've got to read this summer. First, I have The X Talk by Rachel Solomon. This follows two people who work for a radio station, and it is not doing so hot. So she comes up with the idea of kind of like a podcast discussion segment where two exes are giving relationship advice. Well, the radio station doesn't want to hire new people, so their boss comes up with the idea for them to pretend that they are exes. So it kind of gives a new spin on the fake dating trope, where they are pretending to have dated before, and ultimately they're going to get to know each other and actually fall in love. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to play into the part of them pretending to be exes giving relationship advice on a radio station. But this was one that I had been really anticipating for 2021. I think it's going to be a really fun summer read. Fun. Great. Book. Love. Excited. And the next one is Christina Lauren's The Honey and Honeymooners, and I've seen this everywhere. So many people love this book, but it is an enemies to lovers book. I want to say that it's two people whose best friends got married, and something happens and they can't go on their honeymoon, so the best friends decide to go for them even though they hate each other, and they end up falling in love. So you're also kind of trapped, I guess, because I think it might be on a cruise. I could be wrong. I could be getting it mixed up with Shipped. This may have nothing to do with the cruise and just a vacation. I do like Christina Lauren's writing style. I did read Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating or something like that, and it wasn't my favorite because I listened to the audiobook of it. I did like the romance, and I think that this one will probably be a better fit than that one did, because I just didn't like the characters in that book as much. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is obviously a perfect summer read because it's about a vacation. I will definitely be devouring this one pretty soon this summer. And then I have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord, and this follows two people whose, I think their families both have restaurants, and they're like competition with each other. The couple in the book have like this Twitter war going on like their restaurants' respective social media websites, and then they also know each other in real life, and they're falling in love, but they don't realize each other are the ones online. And so there's kind of that trope, like they're falling in love in one place but they hate each other in another place in their lives. I've seen a few people talk about this one and say that they really enjoy it, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people read it. I think this one sounds really cute, and the couple's names are Pepper and Jack, and I don't know if that makes me want to read it less because Pepper Jack, it just kind of sounds cheesy, or if it makes me want to read it more because it sounds cheesy. And it's actually cheesy because it's Pepper Jack. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this one should be fun to read. And then I have How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams, and I really have no idea what this is about. I think I read the synopsis when I picked it up in Barnes & Noble, but I don't remember. It says, one daring to-do list and a crash course in flirtation turn a type A overachiever's world upside down. When her flailing department lands on the university's chopping block, Professor Nia Turner's friends convince her to shed her frumpy cardigan for an evening on the town. For one night, her focus will stray from her demanding job and she'll tackle a new kind of to-do list. When she meets a charming stranger in town on business, he presents the perfect opportunity to check off the items on her list. So it sounds like the main character is someone who likes to have a lot of control in her life and doesn't just kind of let go, and she's going to meet a man who can show her how to do exactly that. It sounds like a simple, cute romance, and it sounded like something I could get through pretty quickly and that I would enjoy. And then we have another one that is beloved on BookTube, and it is the Bromance Book Club by Lissa K. Adams. A lot of people in the Discord have been reading this lately, and so it's really been making me want to pick it up. It follows a couple who are struggling in their marriage, and so that's something that I'm really interested to see, because you don't see that a lot in romance books where the couple is already together and they're trying to fix what they already have. I think that it stems from Gavin, the main character in our story, finding out that his wife has been faking the big O for the entirety of their marriage. And so he decides that instead of getting a divorce like she asked, he joins a book club with his guy friends, and they're trying to figure out how to better woo the women in their life. And it's just such a cute concept, and I've heard really great things about this just because everybody's been talking about it around me lately, which makes me eager to pick it up and figure out what all the fuss is about. And then I have One to Watch by Kate Stamen London, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that I haven't read this one yet, because this was one that I was really anticipating reading because it just sounds so relatable. because it just sounds so relatable for me. But it follows a woman who ends up on a Bachelorette-esque type show, and she is plus sized, and so obviously that's something that's not really heard of. It tackles a lot of fat shaming, I understand, and her coming to terms with loving who she is and loving her body. It just sounds like something that I'm going to really enjoy. I've heard good things about it. And then the next ones I have are part of a companion novel series, but they are Party of Two and Royal Holiday by Jasmine Guillory. These are, I'm not sure what number they are in the series, but they're companion novel series for her wedding date series, I believe, and they're just romances, and they're somehow connected to people in previous books and future books and so on. And I'm not entirely sure what the synopsis is on these. I read The Proposal by her, which is the second book in this series, because I chose it in Book of the Month and I did not realize it was part of a bigger series. So I decided I wanted to pick up the rest of the series because I did really enjoy it and I enjoyed her writing style. I haven't gotten to any of the other ones yet, but I do have them all, and I think she has another one coming out this year if it's not already out, so I'll be getting that one as well. And the next ones I have are some thrillers. The first one I have is Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney, and I saw Haley from Haley Hughes talking about this and how she really loved this thriller. I believe it follows a missing child. Okay, yes, that's what it was. Their kids are swapped at birth, from what I understand, and just a lot of craziness goes down. I haven't read a thriller in a bit, and this one sounds like a good one to get to. And then I have Three Perfect Liars by Heidi Perks, and it is a thriller mystery type book, and I'm not entirely sure what the thriller type mystery is supposed to be. It follows three women, so I guess it's just going to kind of be some lying, scheming, more of a domestic thriller without the domestic part, I guess. I know that they all work together and they all kind of have secrets that we're going to have to kind of discover. I don't know. It sounded interesting based on the little blurb, and so I picked it up. Then I have The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and this is a thriller about a group of women who have a book club in the South. There are kids, I believe, that start disappearing in the town, and no one seems to really care, and a vampire joins their book club, I think, and they're trying to like solve the mystery of these kids. I believe it's going to have something to do with the vampire. I've heard really good things about Grady Hendrix and this book in particular, and I just really like this cover. I'm excited to get to this one, and I'm hoping, oh, that's pretty. Oh, that's cute. I didn't know it had this, but it's got Town of Mount Pleasant Public Library, South Carolina here, where they're from, and they do a little book club, their little library. That is cute. Okay, so anyway, I might read it this summer. It kind of makes me think of reading it in the summertime, even though it's a thriller. I might do Summerween with Olivia and Gabby. I might like join in on that, and this would be the perfect one for that. And then finally for thrillers, I have The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. and I have no idea what this is about, but I know that it's by Megan Miranda, and I've read her other books and really enjoyed them. So I picked this one up because she's one of my auto-buy authors. Her books are always really fast-paced reads for me, so this one might be another good Summerween book for me. And then one that my brother got me for Christmas is Bernie Sanders' Our Revolution, and I'll probably listen to the audiobook of this one. I read Barack Obama's A Promised Land recently on audio, and I really enjoyed that one, and so I think this one might be a good one to read on audio as well. We are getting down to the final bits. These are two that I got from some lovely people in the Citadel Discord on Mel's Patreon. The Citadel is top tier, amazing. The people there are wonderful. We have such a fun time. I got A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, and it's from Morgan. I put her little note in here. It says, "This is one of my favorite reads of the year. I absolutely loved it and hope you do too." And this is one that I've been looking forward to reading. It follows a girl who has, I believe she has a podcast at her school, and I've heard that the audiobook for this is good. Does she have a podcast? Is that some other book I'm thinking about? There's a mystery. It's a young adult mystery. You know what? Let me just read this. Everyone in Fairview knows the story. Pretty and popular high school senior Andy Bell was murdered by her boyfriend, Sal Singh, who then killed himself. It is all anyone could talk about, and 5 years later, Pip sees how the tragedy still haunts her town. But she can't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. She knew Sal when she was a child, and he was always so kind to her. How could he possibly have been a killer? And so she decides to re-examine the case and determine what actually happened. I know there is a second book in this series. I don't know if there's going to be any more books. This one is very beloved by a lot of people, and so I'm really excited to get to this one. And then finally, before we get to the box that I have to open, I got The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid from Dolores over on the Citadel, and I also have her note in here. This is one of my favorite books, and when I saw it on your wish list, I had to get it for you. I hope you love it as much as I do. Let me know what you think. I know that Taylor Jenkins Reid, it feels like she's writing about realistic people. Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Then I guess it follows the life of her, but I've just heard really good things about Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing, and I've never read anything by her, and I know this is one that's a big favorite, so I'm super excited to get into this one and see what all the hype is about. Okay, so now it is the moment of truth. We get to see what this is. This is the box, and like I said, there is only one thing I believe would require this big box. I have my box cutter here. I believe this is from Diana on the Citadel. She is the wish list fairy, basically. She's always buying other people's books, even though she's supposed to be on a book ban. But we greatly appreciate her, and we love her over there. So let's just slice it open and see what it is. Oh my gosh. I knew this is what it was. It is the Throne of Glass series, the box set. This is entirely too much, Diana. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's read the note. Let's see. Oh wait, where's the note? They didn't put a note. They didn't leave a note. I guess this is from Diana, because she's the one that told me when it was going to be delivered. So now I'm gonna have to verify on the Discord who this was from. So it's post filming Lauren, and I found the note from Diana for the Throne of Glass series, and I just wanted to make sure that I included a huge thank you to her, because that was such a generous gift, and I did not expect anyone to get that from my wish list. I don't expect anyone to get anything from my wish list, but I thank you so much, and I'm so excited to have the physical books to read with you guys and discuss the series. And the Citadel is just a wonderful place, and if you're not there, you're definitely missing out. But thank you again, Diana, so much. I really appreciate it. We're reading the Throne of Glass series in the Discord and like discussing it in one of the channels, and so everyone's been kind of like buying the books for everybody, and I'm almost done with the Assassin's Blade, even though it's May 2nd and I was supposed to be done in April. Yeah, we won't talk about that. We'll keep that a secret, won't we? But oh my gosh, this box set is so pretty. Kingdom of Ash is so random with that yellow spine. This is wonderful. That is all of the books that I have, and if you count each book in the Throne of Glass series, we have 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41 books for the entirety of this haul, and it took me way too long to film this, but thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to check the description for my social media links and links to any resources. I also have my book of the month link down there if you're interested, because they have really great books for only $14.99 a month. I think that's it. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!